motion sickness warning. I've managed to find the last couple of bits of video from my trip to Bulgaria, and they were the ones that I took with my new video camera, which obviously I hadn't got the hang of at all. I'm going to be spending the next few days practicing. So apologies in advance. I'm going to go straight in with a very wobbly tour of my garden. Enjoy. System is busy. Right, I feel really cheeky doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. This is an example of how you really keep a Bulgarian house nice. Down there they've got fruit trees, they've got a vineyard, they've got an orchard. They don't really use the house. They live in that little bit there, the summer kitchen. So that's quite common, you know, that people don't use the big house anymore. It's too big, too expensive to maintain. They've, you know, they're quite old, the people who live there. I know the people who are walking around don't look old now, but I think they're like the daughter of the house, and they come at weekend, spend a lot of time helping out in the garden. But these are so well maintained. This one's the same down here. You know, every weekend. They're so industrious here. You just see people working all the time on their gardens, on their plots. They just never stop. And we like playing a fun game on this hill of which house are we going to live in when we grow up. We choose a different one most days. So for my garden, obviously, my garden does not have the love and attention lavished on it that they've got down there. But we have had this patio put in. This was expensive. I think it came to about 5,000 lev for labour, materials, etc. But it was done by a professional, and it is flat. So the idea here is, I think it's 8 by 10. We use, the swimming pool takes up about a third to half of it, somewhere around that. So the idea is that the swimming pool will be up in the summer, obviously. But I want an outdoor kitchen, because my kitchen's quite small, and I do love cooking. And that's a good way around it in a country where it's warm enough to be outdoors for 9 months of the year. So I'm not sure which end we'll go for. Chris will run some electric down here. But the idea is we'll tile it, the kind of Bulgarian crazy paving. We'll just have something, nothing too spectacular. Drop my glasses. Nothing too spectacular, just like, you know, somewhere with a bit of a sink. I think I've just zoomed in by accident. A bit of a sink, barbecue unit, a little oven, and a seating area. That's all I want. Probably, I mean, it might be best to have it down this half because it's closer to the house to run the electricity, but then, you know, the pool needs electric as well because it's got a pump and a filter with it, so who knows. And that means that if this is my kind of leisure area, then this will be my lawn area. And I'll be able to, I'm going to plant some rose bushes, because it's Bulgaria, you should have rose bushes, and some flowers, and put some planters and things in here. And then I've actually achieved my aim on this first bit this week, because my aim was to get all those bastard spiky things down and plant some trees of my own. And whether these trees will survive, because they are so tiny, I do not know. That twig is one of them. And this twig, rather delightfully overnight, has developed a leaf, which shows at least this one's alive for now. Yeah, that's that. Then Magda came the other day and she was admiring our new fence, and then she said, now paint the gate, because her gates, you can see hers just through there, her gate and her garage are absolutely beautiful. Ours is all rusty and disgusting. It's even worse on the other side. So that's the next job. Is I don't see any point in buying a new one. I think we could sand that down, give it a good coat of Bulgarian green, and it'll look nice and smart, like somebody owns it. I've moved my wood pile, it's gone. And I've been left with these two great big piles, which I don't know I can't fit them in a barn. They will be handy kindling. Maybe I'll just leave them here to dry out outside, because the woodshed is now absolutely rammed with the stuff already. And you've seen my animal barns, so I don't need to take you back in there. So this will be where my chickens and my goats live in the future. And we'll get this fenced off, because there are jackals, and they're not far away. The burrows for them are down on the road even. And although they're not dangerous to us, but they would have our chickens and even a goat at the drop of a hat. And then we've got the staircase up there, which I've been showing people all week, up to our new fence. And this will be nice. So we've got to close this off before we leave, hook it all up, so we've not left a bloody big gap for the jackals. But we're going to get a proper door put on that, and it'll look lovely. Oh, and there's that book. I found this in the one of the barns. It seems to have somebody's accounts and recipes in it, all in Bulgarian, which is lovely. Yeah, that one just needs burning. I'm any steadier with this thing than I am with a phone. It feels steadier. I'll do the workshop separately. So behind the grapes, originally I was going to have this as my lawn and where my pool was going to go, but it was pointed out to me that it is on a heck of a slope, so yeah, that didn't make any sense. The reason we cut this mulberry tree down, which felt awful because it was a big old tree, is, well, there's two reasons. One was it was massive, and it was leaning against the workshop, which is never good. And the other is that this is our water meter, and we didn't want the roots going into the water system and cocking that up. So we've got the double fence now, because the first fence we had put up to keep the dogs in, and then realised there were gaps in the external one, and they just get out through those. So yeah, we've got the double space now, which again, if I can keep the bastard acacias under control, I can put some more fruit trees in here. It'd be nice, well away from the workshop. But this, I've got, I think those are wild plum trees, and I think the one that isn't blooming yet, I think that's a cherry. And I've no intention of cutting those down, because they're lovely trees and they're useful. So I think this will probably become additional veg growing space, because what I'm most excited about being here is having this much space to grow vegetables, because at home I've got a 150-foot garden, and at one point I dug the lawn up to plant vegetables. I've let it come back now. So this looks like we've killed people, but this is Chris's efforts yesterday to, we've got 4 rows of spuds in there. I think I'm going to dig this over now and put a 5th row in, because I've still got loads of seed potatoes. Strasty! That's my neighbour. She's about 900 years old. And then that. Как ты, добрый? Да, hard work. Много работы. Yeah. All week. Hard work, but it's good, yeah? You okay? You good? Добрый? Да? Да, it's beautiful, yeah? Ah, oh. But better now. Yeah. Good to see you. I'm so glad she's still alive. So yeah, my Bulgarian's shocking, and obviously she's not got any English. She's so cute. She's like, the little apron and a headscarf on. So this is going to be my main growing area, and then this is going to be an additional area. And like I said, I'm going to keep putting my kartoffel, my potatoes in. What she was saying to me there, the bit I could pick up, was that we've been working very hard. Lots of work, no robote. So that's my plan for the garden.
Yeah, so that's my garden. You can see from the people who live below me and Magda's garden just by the gates, you can see how good Bulgarian gardens are. And no space is wasted at all in Bulgaria. Like, you walk down the main road in down into the village, and even the grass verges, they've been dug over. People are growing things on them. It's amazing how, this week when we went, it was what, March, and everyone's getting ready now. Planting is proceeding, and they're raking everything over, making sure it's weed free, trimming their trees, and the harvest they get is unbelievable. When we go back in July, there'll be sweet corn like 3-4 foot high, and then by August it's 6 foot high. And everybody, and it's all down the grass verges. It's incredible. And the fruit yield they get from the trees, my trees are shit. I'm sorry, they really are, because they've been neglected for so many years. We were watching our little Bulgarian adventure the other day, and he's got like a chainsaw on a pole. We absolutely need one to get started with trying to trim some of those branches in the hope of bringing some of them back to life. Around the perimeter of my garden, there's a quince tree, which in the 2 years we've been there has produced one wizened quince. There's various trees that look like they might be apple trees or pear trees. There's loads of wild plum and wild cherries, and in the same in the woodland as well, surrounding all the poor little choking walnuts that also need trimming right down. And we just don't get anything off them, except maybe, half a dozen wild plums a year, because they're so overgrown, they're so knackered. And some of the smaller ones I've started trimming down, but the bigger ones, we need something with reach to even begin to make progress. And then, you walk into the village and you see these people, and they're out at 9 o'clock at night to avoid the wasps, harvesting these great fat purple plums and beautiful trees absolutely laden with apples. And you go down into the bit of the village that I showed you in the last video with where Joseph lives, and these beautiful peaches, and all sorts of fruit growing, and they take such care with everything. I honestly, I can't wait to get going on it. I love growing vegetables. Realistically, it's going to be a couple of years, I think, before I can really get going properly, because, for the next couple of years, all being well, I'll be in Romania, and Chris will be coming and going between Romania and Bulgaria, and I'll just be maybe visiting the house at weekends and such like, and in holidays. And, I've got to split that time between going home to Britain, seeing my family as well, which I want to be able to do. But I honestly cannot wait. The ground is so fertile. It's such good soil. And I can grow so many wonderful things. I'm so excited about it. My main aim is about 3 years ago, I grew 8 aubergine plants in my greenhouse, and that they produced the most beautiful flowers, and 1 aubergine between all 8. I've got the hang of tomatoes now. I can make them grow, and I do quite well with them. I'm okay with peppers, but I can't wait to be in an environment where an aubergine will successfully grow. And I can't wait to see what a strawberry patch can do in Bulgaria, because, I get kilos of strawberries back in the UK. And the height of June, I'm picking 1-2 kilos a day. So Bulgaria hopefully is going to be even better. Yeah, so much of my garden is going to be given over to fruit and veg, because that's my passion. I love making jam. I love making chutney. And I'm just getting really ambitious with what's going to happen with that patio. It's 8 by 10. And like I said in the video, half of it is filled by the pool. But every time I look for outdoor kitchen ideas on YouTube or on Pinterest, I'm just going, I want that one. No, I don't want that one. And they get bigger and more ambitious every time. And I've got to remember, as brilliant as Chris is, he's not a builder, and he'll do something for me, but I don't think it's be quite as ambitious as the ones I'm looking at. So I'm going to go over once I finish doing this and have a look at New Beginnings in Bulgaria, because I know he was building an outdoor kitchen. I want to see if there's got anything that I can steal off him. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about having those barns. I keep saying I'm going to have a donkey. I'm probably not going to have a donkey, but I do want a couple of goats. I do want to start making cheese and yogurt, things like that. I know they're little gits, but we're going to fence them in really safely, because we are aware we've got a jackal issue. And keeping chickens again, I kept chickens and ducks for donkey's years in Britain, and I miss them. And I miss the countryside. I've got a timer on my phone now, a vacation countdown for how long it is till I'm home, how long it is I'm back in Bulgaria. I'm beginning to wish I hadn't installed it, because it's making me even more homesick. Anyway, next video is really shonky, even bigger motion sickness warning, and that's Chris's workshop. So here we go. Let's have a look at that. And then finally, am I still recording? I thought I'd stopped. Never mind. What am I on? Cut this bit out. Let me see, where's my glasses? Oh, it started recording again. Okay, I can always cut that. Right, so finally, I've got Chris's workshop. So this is definitely Chris's world, not mine, but I've still got designs on half of it. It's so cool in here, it's lovely. So this is where I found a lot of treasure when I first came here, other people's treasure, frankly. So, rather delightfully, this little room used to be a tavern, and you can see it's tiny. So it must have just been like some old men gathered round tables drinking rakia to get away from the wife for a while. But the house is 1941. This has got 1888 on it, so it's been here for a very long time. And we need to watch that wall because it is leaning slightly. We need to do something to prop that up. But at the moment it's just full of like our shit, swimming pool. Oh, there's two proper Bulgarian quilts down there. God, they're like weighted blankets. I just need to find somewhere that can clean them, because they're way too big for the washing machine. I believe the traditional way is to drag them out in the garden in decent weather and give them a damn good scrub and leave them to air dry. And then that's my pram. I said to Davey when we came to see the house, I'm not buying it if the pram isn't included. Sometimes Chris goes, oh, there must be an easier way to carry all this water. I'm like, bring the pram! But he won't be seen dragging the pram to the spring, which is, boring. And this is, I call this our wine cellar. This is where I keep all our cheap wine. So we've got, what have we got left? 2 big 10-litre drums of white, that's my poison. And 3 big 10-litre drums of red, which is Chris's poison. And then we've got some in litre bottles there. So we buy it at the winery. We send our grapes to the winery. They charge us a small processing fee. I think it's for 80 lev. Davey paid it last time, so I'm not sure. And then we buy the wine back off them for 1 lev a litre. So these 10-litre bottles cost 10 lev, like £4 something. £4.40 for 10 litres of wine. And as much as I'd like to say, oh yeah, I'm going to make my own wine, come on, let somebody else do it. And, they're doing it for super cheap. And then it's still full of Chrissy stuff, and of course, tables, because you need them, it's the law. Chris won't let me bring this mirror in with the startlingly frightening
cherubic Austrian boy and sexy lady on it, and he won't let me bring Jesus in either, but I want to bring them in. But the reason I've got designs on this bit is that is an oven, and it's got a chimney, it's got a petrol hole there so you can put a heater in. But that oven is traditionally for things like Easter, and you just put your whole lamb in there and you cook away all day in it, and that to me is a lovely thing and something I'm quite interested in revamping. But to be honest, it is quite low down on my list of priorities, and also I'm quite scared to open it in case, you know, something jumps out at me. But yeah, I like that. So that's Chris's workshop. This is his place. This is going to be his happy man cave when he's here full time. Can't wait for him to be here for longer time than we are at the moment. And that's that. I think that you have now seen all of my beautiful Bulgarian property, except of course my woodland, which I'm too scared to go in. And you've even met my lovely neighbour. Lucky you.
Yeah, so that's that. I don't know if I'm going to do any more Bulgaria videos now, unless somebody kind in my village wants to send me some videos and footage of how things are going so I can put them together. I do miss the place so much when I'm not there. And every time I go, I'm like, I don't want to go home. Chris's workshop, I think, is a winner. He wanted something with somewhere he could work, and he's got so into his DIY since he met me, probably because, you know, we've got a big rattly old house in Britain that needs constant work. But he builds wonderful things, you know. He builds doors out of pallets and clads sheds and does all sorts of things, and he's just tireless. So it's nice for him to have that space. And I know I say I want the kitcheny, officey area, but it's not a proper pesh, but it does the job, that oven, I think. And I know my friend Terry said he'll show me how it works because he's got a proper pesh on his house. And I think it'd be a lovely thing to have. And the office bit, Chris doesn't necessarily need once we've cleared out the crap, because that tavern, the workshop, has got a fully the whole length of it has got an upstairs as well. You go in through the back door and there's a whole storage section upstairs, so we can store stuff like the pool and tables and chairs and things up there and get them out of the way. And of course that row of animal barns has got a full concreted floor upstairs as well, so we've got plenty of space to put stuff if we want to get it out of the way so that Chris can have a really working workshop. I just think it's so cute that it's, you know, it's so old. And every time I go in there, I just have visions of old men hiding from their wives, slurping rakia and putting the world to rights, because that's what it was when it was built, which is a lovely thing, a really lovely historical thing. So everything has a date in it on our house. Like the house has 1941 above it. The tavern's got 1888 inside it. I don't know if that's genuine. It doesn't look like it was built in 1888, but if it is, you know, great. And even one of the poles for the grapevines has got 1985 written down the side of it, carved into it. There's an old sink outside as well, an old communist sink that comes from the old kitchen and bathroom, and I want to utilise that somehow. I was thinking of making it into like a flower planter. It weighs a ton. I don't know how I'm going to move it over to the lawn. So yeah, that's it. If, like I say, if someone wants to send me some footage, I'll gladly use it and stare hungrily at it for the next 80 odd days until we set off. We're all ready to roll now. Chris is going to stop work, hopefully. He's going to do a full 3 months there. Well, I have to go over to Romania in the middle of August to start my job. We've booked our channel tickets for the 11th or 12th of July. We've booked our first night's stay in Calais so that we can have a good night's rest and then set off. We've watched what used to be the Sharksteads, now the journey of Mark and Anisha. We've watched their journey home, so we know what kind of route we want to follow. Still not very clear whether I can go through Romania or not. It will depend whether my visa's arrived, because apparently what I have to do is I have to wait for my work permit, and then once my work permit arrives, I have to apply for the visa that goes with that, and then I have to present myself to the Romanian embassy in Britain to pick up that visa. And now, if that visa is coming before we go to Bulgaria, I'm probably not going to be able to travel through Romania with a visa, because once I present that visa, I've got to stay in Romania until my residency card comes. I don't want to get stuck there. I want to spend a month in Bulgaria before I go. So if it has come, we're probably going to have to do the Serbia route. If it hasn't come, then we can go through Romania. I'll fly back to Britain to get it, or try to see if I can arrange to get it at the Romanian embassy in Bulgaria. But either way, that's fine. If I have to go back to Britain, that's good. It means I get to spend a few days with the kids again. And there's a lot of horror stories about Serbia and traveling through Serbia. But to be honest, when I looked it up on all the internet forums and things, I couldn't find anything real. It's just people saying, oh, they heard it from a friend of a friend that it was a difficult journey and the border police are crazy. So we'll see. We'll see which way we do it. And then Chris will have to come back to Britain in the end of September, because he'll have had his 90 days and he'll have to stay there then till Christmas. And hopefully by then I'll have my visa, and I'll have my residency. And then once I've got my residency, I can start applying for his. He's still tied to 90 days because we'll be Romanian residents, not Romanian citizens. But that, he doesn't have to do it all in one chunk. He can do a couple of weeks in Bulgaria, a couple of weeks at home with me in Romania, go to and from that way. So yeah, it's all go. It's quite exciting. As much as I like it here, and it's been a revelation in terms of staying alive and not dying from the stress of teaching in the UK. I miss my family now. I really, really miss them, and I'm very aware of how long it is since I've seen them. So I'm very much looking forward to going home. Anyway, it's Eid. It's a beautiful day. It's cloudy, but it's warm. It's in the 20s. So I'm going to go for a walk and put this together later. Hope everyone is well. Peace out.